All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Wrestling Rundown. We're doing that thing where we talk about the indie news, independent wrestling. What are we talking about this week, Kevin Hawk?
Everything that's independent wrestling news related. Independent wrestling, that's talking not WWE, not TNA/Impact, whatever you want to call it.
They're not doing anything special right now, anyway.
No. Except for WWE's NXT TakeOver. But we're
Well,
going to talk about that
TNA
later. Oh, TNA's never doing anything special.
They're doing best ofs right now, so they come back in January.
So we start off with results. And we're going to do the results. The only results we have this week are for Ring of Honor's final battle.
Yes.
Taking away Travis Colt.
Me and Kevin Hawk this past Sunday, we watched. We tried to watch Final Battle. We'll get to that here in just a second. But our first match we did get to see all the way through. It was a 4 corners survival match with Hanson, Jimmy Jacobs, Chris Coleman, and Mark Briscoe.
Let's say the 4 corner survival match is literally just a fatal 4-way match.
Yeah.
First fall to a finish,
but
the end.
It's the ROH way of saying it. The 4-way survivor match. Hanson ends up winning. There was a lot of really cool action, a great way to start the show. Mm-hmm. Some really diverse styles of wrestling in this one. And Hanson is just still on a roll this year. Mm-hmm. He's been doing big things in 2014.
Top prospect winner, so why not?
So, good on you. Up next, we had 2 of the Survival of the Fittest finalists. Roderick Strong taking on Adam Page.
Decade versus X-Decade.
Yeah, Adam Page had Jimmy Jacobs and BJ Whitmer in his corner. Jimmy Jacobs was in the previous match. BJ Whitmer was in his corner. Fucking lot of really good action. I had never seen Adam Page before, so it was really cool seeing him, getting to put on a good show. Roderick Strong ended up winning, though.
He used the suplex toss-up into the double leg backbreaker.
Mine's just release suplex double knee backbreaker.
And then going into the intense Boston Crab called the Stronghold.
Yeah. And yeah, at first he just had it in real deep, and Adam Page started to get towards the rope, and then he Jericho style put his knee on the back of his head, and Page wasn't going anywhere.
He passed out.
Yeah, Page passed out, which got him some good recognition from BJ Whitmer.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't give up. So good on you, Page, but good on Roderick Strong for pulling out the win. We had the heavy hitting match of Michael Elgin taking on Tommaso Ciampa. You weren't too excited about this match.
I wasn't thrilled because they're both guys with really similar styles and not a lot of variances.
Yeah,
to
2 smash mouth kind of guys. Michael Elgin would pull out the win with almost a stalling double underhook DDT, kind of almost an educator kind of style with it. And Tommaso Ciampa accidentally hitting the referee
earlier in the match.
Michael Elgin ducking out of the way of a clothesline, and Tommaso Ciampa hitting him. So there was a speculation that Tommaso Ciampa could be potentially fired from Ring of Honor.
Yeah, Nigel McGuinness, the matchmaker of Ring of Honor, put a no tolerance policy on either of these guys for attacking the officials.
Yeah.
And during the match, Nigel McGuinness was on commentary, and when Tommaso hit the referee during the match, Nigel left.
Oh, that's what
So, a lot of speculation is he was going to go put it into motion.
I was distracted by our issue with the pay-per-view. I didn't realize that he had actually left the commentator's table.
Do we have the 6-man yet? That's next.
That's next.
Oh,
yeah.
Yay. The 6-man was awesome.
This was
6 men in it?
This was one of, if not, the match of the night.
Probably.
It was ACH's birthday. He was teaming with the Young Bucks to take on the Addiction and Cedric Alexander. This match was amazing.
Yeah.
Just non-stop action from this. This was just so...
Super kick party.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody got super kicks.
That's not a party I want to go to.
Everybody got super kicks.
So much flippy.
Tons of flippy.
But the Bucks and ACH would take the W.
Yeah, ACH assisting in the buck stops here.
Yeah.
Kind of a little trios finish, which was great. So ACH gets the win on his birthday, but
happy birthday.
Taking nothing away from Cedric Alexander and the Addiction. Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels looking good as ever.
But they didn't
just
have a happy birthday.
Phenomenal match. This is where we start to get our issues If you watched Final Battle, if you watched the iPay-per-view stream, which we did, they were...
Stuff stopped and then repeated, and then went a little bit farther, then stopped and repeated, and it went like that for quite a while.
So these next 3 matches, we don't have a lot of details about. We had Moose defeat R.D. Evans because Veda Scott actually turned on R.D. Evans, dropping down and giving him a big old low blow.
What an uppercut.
Yeah. Well played, sir. But yeah, we don't have a lot of details because we couldn't see half the match. Another match that we were so excited to see but couldn't. Jay Lethal defeated Matt Sydal, retaining the ROH TV title.
Truth Martini is Sinister Mr. Light.
Yes. That's on Twitter. The end would come. Matt Sydal's going for the shooting star press onto Truth Martini.
Yeah. He hit it.
But Jay Lethal hit the lethal cutter with him and then got him up and hit him with lethal injection, gaining the win and retaining the title. So the match was probably just as good. At least the ending was good. We got to see the end. But we watched it like 4 times. And then we had a match that Kevin Hawk was really excited to see, but we couldn't really see it. We had Red Dragon defeat the Time Splitters to retain the ROH Tag Team Championships. Kyle O'Reilly making Kushida tap out to an armbar. And then in our main event, we had the Fight Without Honor, Jay Briscoe defending against Adam Cole. This was...
Defending the ROH title.
Yes, the ROH title, yes.
Or he could have just been defending, too.
He was. I mean, he doesn't want to get... He doesn't... Well, he might like to get punched in the face, but...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Jay starts off with a J Driller right at the beginning of the match.
Yeah. Which you thought it was just over at that point, and Adam Cole kicks out, and you're like, oh, okay, well, this kid's got something here.
They use some tables. They use some chairs. Jay gets a streamer-covered kendo stick at one point. The entire underneath of the ring is
every time
at this point.
I started doing clown music every time they started, because it's just fucking colors after colors before they get.
And then they brought out the hashtag
use the streamers.
Rainbow of Doom, the Office Depot thumbtacks, and the meanest spot I've ever seen in non-deathmatchy type.
Well, actually, wait. Let's go back to the beginning where Jay Briscoe got the piece of paper stapled to his head.
Oh yeah,
Adam Cole with the staple gun.
Adam Cole stapled some paper to Jay Briscoe's head. It was the seat reserved, the reservation for Papa Briscoe.
Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Briscoe couldn't make it. There was an issue.
Just arriving when he stapled that, and then couldn't find a seat.
No, there was actually an issue a week before where Adam Cole attacked Mr. Briscoe.
Super kicked him in the back of the head.
And they were arriving despite all their injuries and needed a lot of help finding their seat because he wasn't thinking clearly and he couldn't find a seat.
Because they weren't marked anymore.
Yeah.
Big move, Adam Cole.
Anyway, let's go back to the...
Adam Cole took a handful of thumbtacks and poured them into Jay Briscoe's mouth and then super kicked him.
Holy shit.
But despite having paper stapled to his head and a mouthful of thumbtacks kicked down his throat, Jay Briscoe would retain.
Yes, hitting the J Driller on the ROH Championship, allowing to get the 1, 2, 3. So Jay Briscoe has not been pinned or submitted in nearly 2 years. So good on you, Jay Briscoe.
That's a real champion.
Good on everyone at Ring of Honor,
Nobody got injured.
Except for whoever's running the stream. Fix your fucking... I paid $26 for that.
That guy probably got injured. That's what the issue was.
That better be his excuse.
He broke his fingers running the stream.
Then he needed to teach somebody else because I didn't get my money back and I missed the 3 matches that I was... 2 matches that I was super excited for.
Yeah.
And a third match, I was excited because I like R.D. Evans.
Yeah, so if you have links to those matches, post in the comments.
But that is it for
the
results this week. We're going to take it back over to Kevin Hawk with the return of 5 matches that everyone should see.
Yeah, alrighty. So we got the 5 matches. This week's edition is WCW.
Which is technically independent because they don't exist anymore.
Yeah. It's pseudo in my excitement over the return of Sting.
Yep.
So I'm going to get right into it and go the New Japan Pro Wrestling and WCW Supercard 2. Great Muta and Sting versus the Steiner Brothers.
I like it already.
This is the Steiner Brothers in their heyday of being one of the most dominant tag teams on the scene.
I like it more already.
It was before I hated Scott Steiner.
And
It's before he learned how to talk.
before you knew Scott Steiner.
Well, I like this Scott Steiner.
And then the odd pairing of Sting and the Great Muta.
That's still a
Great
badass
Muta,
team, though.
Great Muta in WCW was always like a heel, and feuded with Sting. They paired Sting with Great Muta in WCW or in this Supercard because in Japan Muta was very over as a babyface.
Right. Yes.
Because he's the Great Muta.
Yeah.
You know.
He has great in his name, so. You know.
But yeah, that was a great
Anyone with
example
great in their
of.
name has to be a great wrestler.
Two singles guys who were really over forming a team, and then one of the most popular tag teams of the era colliding together, and it was a fairly good match. This is definitely before Scott Steiner's arms got too big to actually wrestle, and yeah, Muta and Sting pretty on point as per usual.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think I'm going to go in order of dates, if I can. We're going to go 4 years into the future from that. So it's going to be 1996 on a Monday Nitro in April. A parking lot brawl between two guys who we know as just notoriously tough bastards. Lord Steven Regal, who we now know as William Regal, versus Finlay. Steven Regal, this was a very out-of-context match for Regal because his gimmick in WCW was the aristocratic blue blood type character. Mm-hmm. But it was that kind of thing that it was the first time I went, whoa, William Regal is like is a badass, you know. And I really hadn't heard much. Like I hadn't seen a lot of Finlay because this was Finlay being very new into WCW. He actually had like a long brown mullet at the time. He didn't have his trademark short blonde hair.
I remember you showing me one of those matches and me going, that's not Finlay.
Crazy.
Yeah. Then we're going to move up to 1998. Halloween Havoc, WCW title match, and the streak at stake, Diamond Dallas Page versus the undefeated WCW champion Goldberg. Goldberg's 100 and some wins into his career streak at the time, and this is really one of the very first matches where Goldberg is going up against a main event caliber guy that's not a heel that he's going to squash.
Right.
You know, he's gone against the Giant, aka the Big Show. He's gone against Hulk Hogan. But, you know, going against DDP, who a lot of people were really, really pulling for in this match. And this was the first time where I watched a match and I saw like, wow, this guy made Goldberg work. Which didn't happen in a lot of Goldberg matches.
No.
This was kind of that turning point where people went, okay, Goldberg's done just plain squashing everybody. And he's actually going to start having matches.
I'm glad they got to that point because I don't like Goldberg anyway. But if I would have known that Goldberg was just like a fucking monster all the way through.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
No, to me, in my head, that's my favorite Goldberg match of all time.
I know DDP talks about this a lot. He talked about it on The Art of Wrestling. He talked about it on just about any podcast he's been on. You know, this and
it's a very fond match for Diamond Dallas Page.
This and his matches with Macho Man are matches that he goes to because people told him that, you know, you are going to be the one that makes Goldberg work. Yeah. And so, yeah. So I've heard a lot about the match. I haven't watched it myself, but
it's good.
Hey, it's on the WWE Network, so
Halloween Havoc 98. Check it out. We're going to go just a little bit farther than that. Starrcade 98. You can't have a top 5 matches of WCW not to miss without involving the Cruiserweight division.
Oh, yeah.
This is a 3-way Cruiserweight Championship match at Starrcade 98 between Juventud Guerrera, Rey Mysterio Jr., and the current Cruiserweight Champion at the time, Billy Kidman.
Fuck yeah.
Juventud was playing heel for the first time in his run in WCW as a member of Eddie Guerrero's LWO. And Kidman and Mysterio had started a very on and off again tag team and rival relationship. And there's a lot of really great chemistry in this match because of the on and off again rivalry friendship of Kidman and Mysterio, and Ray and Juventud both having heavy Lucha Libre influence.
And these are just 3 overall super talented guys, which you can always expect a good match out of, especially at this point in their careers.
Yes.
And you put 3 of them together on the biggest WCW pay-per-view for the title. That's a recipe.
And
for
it was the
masterpiece
opener
right
of the show.
Fuck.
Trying to set
Good
the
luck,
bar.
everybody else.
Trying to set the bar high. And last but not least is one I really, really enjoy watching. It comes from the October Nitro, the Owen Hart tribute match. Bret Hart versus Chris Benoit.
Oh, wow.
Technical wrestling at its best.
Yeah.
Very, very emotionally charged atmosphere because both Bret and Chris knew Owen. You know, Bret is his brother. Chris, a Canadian wrestler that's been everywhere. And just a very, very highly charged matchup. And, you know, the atmosphere was very, very heavy. But you could tell both the wrestlers wrestled their hearts out for the match.
Yeah.
In, you know, that they would though. I mean, you would if you were in that same scenario, you know. You're doing it in tribute to your fallen brother, your fallen comrade, you know. You're gonna put everything you have, you know, in the basket for this one. And they do that, and they have an emotional, huggy moment at the end. Watch it. It gives me chills when I watch it. So, yeah, that concludes my 5 WCW matches not to miss. You've got Steiners versus Sting and Muta, Finlay versus Regal in the parking lot brawl, DDP versus Goldberg for the WCW Championship, the Triple Threat Cruiserweight Championship match between Juventud Guerrero, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Billy Kidman, and the Chris Benoit versus Bret Hart, Owen Hart Memorial match. Check them out. A lot of them are probably on the network.
Yeah.
We'll probably be able to link at least the parking lot brawl I know you can find. So we'll link that one probably via YouTube or something because I know that one's on there.
That's on YouTube?
I'm fairly certain.
We should probably be able to find Hart versus Benoit hidden somewhere.
Probably,
I imagine. But yeah, for the pay-per-view ones, the DDP Goldberg and actually you won't be able to find the New Japan, the crossover. No. That one will probably be a little bit more difficult, but the ones we do have,
you know where
the 2 title matches.
Yeah, 2 title matches will be down in the links. If we can find a place where you can find the other matches, we'll have links to those as well. But we're going to move on to some
upcoming
events. Getting close to the end of the year. But we've got some shows that we've been talking about for a while that are just about to happen.
Yeah, and speaking of just about to happen, we're talking like 12 hours from now. Because this is the middle of the night/morning. We're recording this one very late in the night, morning.
Yeah, Tom's supposed to about to fall asleep.
And I've been up for 24 hours.
It's 12:12 right now, as of recording this.
Minutes.
Which means later today, we're going to be getting one of the events we've been plugging since the very early episodes of the show, PWG's Black Coal Sun, where we get Bobby Fish versus Roderick Strong, the 4-way dance between Uhaa Nation, Biff Busick, Tommaso Ciampa.
Scary one.
Yeah, and Brian Cage. The 6-man tag match between the Best Friends and Johnny Gargano versus Rich Swann, ACH/AR Fox. We've got the Cedric Alexander versus Adam Cole. The tag team dream match between the Young Bucks versus Matt Sydal and Chris Sabin for the first time ever. Chris Hero versus Trevor Lee. The tag titles are on the line. The Addiction faces the world's cutest tag team. And the title match, Kyle O'Reilly defends against Ricochet. That's going to be awesome. Super stacked card for PWG. And I'm guessing it's probably their last show of the year.
Probably.
And then tomorrow, we're going to get Combat Zones Wrestling Cage of Death.
Oh man, it's here.
16.
Oh, Cage of Death scares me now.
Deathiest cage.
It's probably the deadliest cage in the Cage of Death scene. But a huge card for these... Whoa, hiccup. A huge card for these guys. We're talking a lot of matches going on here. We've got the Beaver Boys taking on Team Tremendous, Devin Moore, and Lucky 13 versus Demetrius Papadon and Pepper Parks. Alexander James versus Rich Swann. They have a best of the best qualifying match. 6-way scramble matches. Caleb Conley, Jonathan Gresham, Alex Cullen, AR Fox, Speedball Mike Bailey, and David Starr from Juicy Product. DJ Hyde versus Chris Dickinson in a grudge match. They have the Norman Smiley Memorial Bunkhouse Brawl Ultraviolet Food Fight of Life or Death. Greg Excellent and a partner of his choice versus Matt Tremont and a partner of his choice. We don't know who those guys are, but we'll know probably next week.
Yeah.
We'll give you the results.
Oh man.
The CCW Wired Championship. Shane Strickland versus Chainsaw Joe Gacy. The tag team titles are on the lines. The Christs, a.k.a. Ohio is for Killers, are defending against Edwards and Richards, the Wolves, the American Wolves. And then we've got the Cage of Death. The 4-way match for the CZW Heavyweight Championship. Sozio versus Biff Busick versus Drew Gulak versus Black G's. He cringes because of the Black G's annotation that we had a couple weeks ago.
I cringe every time Black G's is mentioned with Cage of Death because it's fucking terrifying.
Go watch that video.
You should. Indie news.
It is terrifying.
Or don't, because it's apparently terrifying.
I'm just traumatized now.
Alright, we're going to skip... What do they want?
I was just going to ask, do you want to end up traumatized like that?
Yes. Then, speaking of stacked cards, we're going to go to Pro Wrestling Syndicate on the 20th of December. The Frightmare Before Christmas.
Aha. Oh, I've been seeing ones about this. Oh, this is going to be good. There's a lot of good matches set up for this.
Yeah. We've got the CPA, the Certified Public Accountant, versus Gangrel. Chris Payne and Tessa Blanchard versus Craig Steele and Vanity. A grudge match, Habib from the Car Wash versus the Bad Apple, Matt McIntosh. The Reality Check versus the Bullet Club in a tag team match. The Pro Wrestling Syndicate head trainer Pat Buck, one-on-one against Jeff Jarrett. That's a clash of people with a lot of wrestling experience.
That'll be interesting.
We have a Singapore cane match between Kevin Matthews and Brian Myers, formerly known as Kurt Hawkins. Then we have a 4-way dance between Colt Cabana, TDS, Dan Moff, and Fala Bra, or Blah, something. He's got a name. This guy I never heard of, but he looks funny.
It's a guy with a name.
Yeah. And then we have the Pro Wrestling Syndicate Suicidal 6-way title match.
This is the one.
They have a title based off of 6-way matches.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, Brian XL versus Tracy Smothers versus Anthony Nese versus Ricochet versus Shinron versus the defending champion, the Amazing Red.
Just those last three.
Ricochet, Shinron, and Amazing Red.
That's gonna be fucking awesome.
I'm saying the wild card right now is Tracy Smothers.
By far.
Then we have the tag team titles on the line. The Reynolds Bros are defending against the team of Gregory Iron and Zach Gowen, the Handicap Heroes. And
I
then
like the handicap handguns. That was always my favorite.
Then the Pro Wrestling Syndicate title is on the line as Mario Baccara defends against Bonesaw, not Macho Man from Spider-Man, but. And then a special attraction match, AJ Styles versus Rob Van Dam.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
And that's the Frightmare Before Christmas, or the Fightmare. The Fightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, Frightmare would be Car.
Yeah. After Christmas, we've got 2 shows, AIW and AAW. AIW is going to present us on the 26th in Cleveland. Charge it to the Underhills. We've got a stacked card already.
Oh, yeah.
We know that we're going to have a 6-way scramble match between Ricky Shane Page, Eric Ryan, Dick Justice, Joshua Singh, Flip Kendrick, and Candice LeRae. We have a 6-women's tag team match. Tessa Blanchard and the Social Network, Annie Social and Heidi Lovelace, are going against Veda Scott and Team Barely Legal. Tag team match between the Beaver Boys against Cheech and Colin Delaney.
Interesting.
Yeah, Johnny Gargano and Josh Prohibition will be going against M-Dog 20, Matt Cross, and EC3.
Dudes on TV.
Eddie Kingston will be going one-on-one against Chris Hero in a match he asked for at the last AIW show.
That'll be fucking awesome.
Josh Alexander is going against Uha Nation one-on-one, and in the title match, Tim Donst will be defending the Absolute Championship against Crimson,
Yes.
formerly of TNA fame.
Who is apparently getting a WWE tryout here pretty soon.
So we hear.
That's good for you.
The next day, on the 27th, in Berwyn, Illinois, we have AAW presenting One Twisted Christmas. We still only have a handful of matches. We know Heidi Lovelace and Eddie Kingston will be there in some fashion, but we know Ryan Boss will be taking on Marcus Crane and Dan Lawrence in a handicap fans bring the weapons match. Shane Hollister is going to face Lewis Linden in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and in what should be the main event, Gregory Iron and Benjamin Boone of the Iron Curtain are going to be taking on the team of Dick Justice and Colt Cabana.
That's a funny looking tag team, by the way.
And probably a funny tag team to watch.
Probably.
And then I'm going to go through my notes like I don't know what I'm doing. And then we're not going to stop there, though. We've got shows going on to next year. The first 2 shows I'm announcing for next year are going to be courtesy of the World Wrestling Network Live. The guys who bring you Full Impact Pro and Shine. They're going to be bringing you Evolve 36 and 37 on January 9th and 10th.
Nice.
We know guys like Ricochet, Drew Galloway, Rich Swann, all confirmed for these shows. Chris Hero. Evolve 36 is going to be from Eber City, Florida. And on 37 on the 10th is going to be from Winter Park, Florida. And in Evolve 37, we're going to get the official Evolve debut of Trevor Lee.
Nice. Yeah, Evolve is kind of like a branch off of Dragon Gate, correct?
Yeah, it's their partner company with Dragon Gate USA.
Gotcha. Right. Very cool.
So yeah, we got a lot of exciting stuff coming on. There's always a lot of exciting things going on in the indie scene.
Indies are slowly becoming my favorite. I am enjoying indie stuff more and more, and it's starting to take precedence over WWE.
He bought 2 we got 2 iPay-per-views. I almost said he bought, but I bought the first one.
He bought the first one, I bought the second one.
We watched 2 indie iPay-per-views in one weekend.
Yeah, last weekend was awesome.
It was awesome. It was fun. But, you know, we got a lot of other stuff to talk about.
We do.
Something that takes really big precedence is going to be happening in the next video in the lineup.
Yes.
So keep watching. Don't click away. Don't even blink. Tape your eyes open if you have to.
In fact, while you're watching this video, you should have only watched that video.
I'm impressed I got the notebook to land on the chair and a piece of paper to land on my head.
And you only saw one of those things. Caught it, just like Mr.
Thanks for watching Indie News / 5 matches you shouldn't miss WCW edition. Keep watching the midweek wrap-up as we talk about the most important thing ever that's ever happened ever and Lucha Underground.